Welcome back to ch205. In this video I'll be talking about how we can write a VBA script that calculates the average of some numbers that are given as a list in a spreadsheet like this. I have some numbers here in column A, and I want to calculate the average, but I don't want to do it manually. I want to write a VBA script to do that. And to write the VBA script, the way we go about doing this is we're going to go and click on developer, and then there's an option here called macros. We're going to click on macros. Now we're going to give some name to our macro. Let's say we're going to calculate average. So here's the name, and I'm going to hit create. Then there's another window opens up, and then I can write the commands between the two. So this is the name that I just gave to my script, and everything should be between the sub and end sub. So these are the keywords. So first we have to declare the variables, and I'm going to create a variable to save the numbers that I read from input file. Let's say I give that name as input number. So this is a double. The type of the variable is double. You know, the variables are integer, double, float, character. Now this one is double, means it has double the accuracy of the float numbers. I'm going to choose a bunch of other variables, which I'm going to you have to type. All right, so okay, so spacing doesn't matter. You can have, as many spaces as you want. This is a variable that we're going to save every number that we're going to read from the spreadsheet. This is the total number of numbers we're going to read. This is the sum. This is going to be the average. This is going to be the the row at which we're going to read the number, and this is a character. This is a variable that I'm going to use to store some character string in there. Every declaration of the variable starts with a dim, and then the name of the variable you give, and then you have to say the type of it. Either this is double, integer, or string. Okay. So now we're going to activate the worksheet. So here is when I'm going to leave some command lines here for you. So next would be to activate the worksheet. So here's activated. By this command, we're going to activate the worksheet. Again, remember, every line starts with the comment, with the comma, which will be the command line. Okay, so that means all these green lines are command lines. And if something is red like this, that means there's a problem in there. Let me think what the problem is. I don't see any problem here. Oh yeah, there was extra space in there. All right, I killed the space and oops. Invalid character. So let me just type the whole line one more time. Dim my character as string. I think there was a bad character in there. All right, I activate the worksheet. In the command to do that, we say worksheet, and then within the parentheses, we're gonna pick up the active worksheet, which is this worksheet in the background, and we're gonna activate it. All right, so this is a command for it. We're going to initialize the variables. So here are the initialization. So I'm going to initialize my variables. By the way, this is the comment line. Okay, so I'm going to set my active rows 2 because the first number is sitting on row 2 here. The total sum initial is 0. Total number of numbers 0 because I haven't read anything yet. And then we have to get the numbers. So here is the line to get the numbers. Okay, so let me move this up. Okay, so again, this is the comment line. It says get the first number in cell ij. Let's say this is sitting in act row and then column 1. So that's how we just write it this way. So we say go to the active sheet and get the cell which is sitting on act row. Act row is 2 already. So sitting on row 2 and column 1. That's going to be the first input number. And then we can also save that in another variable called my string, my character, or my char. Okay, so the same number goes into two variables, input number and my char, so forth. And we're going to see why I'm using the second variable here. Okay, next I have to calculate the sum, right? To get the average, you have to calculate the sum first, and then divide the total sum by the total number of numbers. All right. So this is a command line. So we have to keep getting numbers until a 0 or blank line is encountered. And I don't need this thing. So we use a while loop because we don't know how many numbers how many numbers are in this list. So we use while, and as long as the my character, which is the number that is read currently, is blank or 0, then we're gonna break the while loop. Otherwise, we keep reading. All right. Every time we read a line, we add the number to the total sum. So the sum is going to be updated every time. We're going to add 1 to the number of numbers. So number of numbers goes up by 1. Same thing with act row. So if you read a number, then the act row has to go up because we're going to be going to the next line. All right. Next is, after we go to the next line, we're going to read the next number, and then we're going to save it into another variable, my char. So every time we record a number, we go to the next line, we reread it, and be ready to go to the next line. Now this my char is actually used to check whether we are hitting the last cell here or not. So if this last cell that we encounter is blank, then this actually picks it up, the while loop, and then it's going to break it. Okay. Next, we have to calculate the average. And the way to do that is, now we have the total sum at the end of this while loop. The sum is updated. And so we're going to calculate the average. Now to do that, excuse me, we have to first check whether, so first number of number goes up by, again, well, the actual goes up because if you're sitting here, I'm going to print the average one line below. So I want to leave one line blank between the last number and the average I'm going to print. So that's why the act row goes up again by 1. Then I need to check whether the number of numbers is bigger than 0. If the user, if the user hasn't input anything, then we should not basically print out the average. The average is only printed if the number of numbers is bigger than 0. So if the number of numbers is bigger than 0, then we're going to do the average, which is the sum divided by the number of numbers. And then on the row that we just calculated, act row, right? And that row, first column, we're going to type average equals. So this is like a string. This is like exactly a character string that is going to show up in the first column. And in the second column, same row, I'm going to print the average, which I just calculated here. Okay. If the number of numbers is not bigger than 0, then we're going to print out on that wrong line no input numbers to average. That means the user hasn't input anything in there. I think that is it. So the code is ready. Now let's go ahead and run it. To run, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go to run and then hit run right here. So as soon as I do that, you see that on this cell is going to be a word average equals, and then on this column we're going to see the average, right? So let's put some numbers that we know the average of, right? So I'm going to put, like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. How many 3s I have? So I have 6 here, and then there are 8 3s in there. So the average should be 4 times 3 should be 12. So now I know the average up front. I can double check my code. So I'm going to go here, click on this, click on the sheet that I wrote the code, and then I go to run and then run. There you go. So the average comes out to be, I'm sorry, the average actually is 3. My bad. Because all of them are 3, so you sum them up, you divide by the total number of numbers, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 3s, so the average is 3. That's true. So now let's try when I have like a bunch of other variables, a bunch of other numbers, like let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50 or 3, something like that. Then I'm going to clear this up, just clear this thing up. Go to the code sheet and then go to the run and then run it again. it says the average is 16.8. So it goes over the numbers and knows where the list ends, and then it prints the average one line below that. Okay, now let's try it without any number. Let's say I'm not gonna put anything in here. Let's see what happens. All right, so I'm clear this up. All right, then I go to the code sheet and then run, and then there you go. See, it says no input numbers to average because we didn't put anything. So, and then this part of the loop is activated, right? Remember that if the number of numbers is 0, which is not bigger than 0, then we're gonna have this command to be executed. And that says, well, print this thing, everything between two double quotes will be printed out. So we're gonna print it out on the first column on this row. Okay, so this is the first VBA, maybe the second one that you write in this class, and that's about how to get the average of average of some numbers in a list given in a spreadsheet. You're going to calculate the average, you're going to print it out on the same spreadsheet, 2 lines below the last number. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned for the next video on the next VBA program.